Meeting to order and ask the clerk to take our roll, please.
All right, Carol, Schoonover, you, Manny, here, Harry, here, Kurt,
Here.
Frank, here, Williamson,
Here.
yep.
Very good. And are we in compliance with the open meetings law?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting is properly noticed.
Good. We have before us a 14-point agenda. Do I have a motion to approve that agenda? Motion by Frank, second by Schoonover. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item 5, approving the minutes from August 20th. Everybody had a chance to see those. Have any questions or corrections? Now would be the time to speak up. Otherwise, hearing none, the chair will declare those minutes to be approved as presented. Item 6, public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that wishes to comment to the committee tonight? Be online? All right, hearing none, we will move on to our reports. And item 7A, update on assessment of specialized items in campus buildings.
So I can start. We've had the smart farm out there and got quite a bit of stuff. So they took some of the protected taxidermy, some of the rocks and science items, microscopes, and then just some little miscellaneous items that they will use out there. The city has provided a list of items that they would like, and they were out there a couple days ago. And so we will work on getting them their items. The campus kitchen, Pine Valley will be getting some of those items and some of the stove, some of those bigger items out of there. So it'll be good that those will be used. And then the Richland Campus Foundation was also out there, got a few items. More of their items they got were related to nostalgia.
Yep.
And then all the records were taken out of there too, the sports records.
There were several items of artwork they specifically
Yep.
wanted and stuff, so
Yep.
they got those.
Yep, and then there is a painting that we're gonna donate to the warehouse, because it is, I can't think now. Yes, I'm sorry, yes, that is relevant for them, so we are gonna get it to them.
I was out there last night with the community theater group. They are taking all the costumes out of the costume room. They're cleaning that out for us. They got it about a little over halfway done and their trucks were full. So they have to come back again. So they will make arrangements to do that, but they're gonna get that all cleaned out. Have those gone for us, so. And they're taking total responsibility for them, so if any's disposed, they'll dispose of it, that kind of thing. So,
What's their plans for stuff like that? I'm just curious.
well, they do plays and stuff, so they have an inventory of costumes down at the downtown theater. They will integrate some of those into there. A lot of it's not good enough to be used again, so they'll dispose of it. But there are other pieces that they will definitely be able to use even for their current show that they're doing, which is Pride and Prejudice, so. They were most cooperative and they had a lot of people lined up and got as much out as they could. And when the trucks were full, they're like, sorry, there was more there than what we thought. So,
A lot of years.
yes, yep. So, continue to work on that. Otherwise, if we're getting down to where it's gonna be time for just us to start cleaning stuff out, then there is a bunch of surplus stuff from the county out there as we've taken desks and things like that. Junk ones have been moved into the student center, so they're just piled up there. Start cleaning some of that stuff out. I see there is a dumpster over by Melville now.
There is, so that's for extension for them to go through some of their stuff, but I know the maintenance department is also hoping to put some stuff in there. We'll have it next week, this week and then next week.
We're talking with maintenance about the shed out back of the property. They would like to keep that for keeping, the mowers and stuff in. So we're working on some things with that. The thing we've been talking about for a long time that's still out there is that piano. Still has not been taken by anyone yet, so we'll reach out to our people who were interested a couple more times to see if they actually want it or not. It'd be a shame to see it.
Wow.
Yeah, and the ones that didn't have a lot of value, Weston took.
Yeah.
So they're gone.
Are you talking about the one that was supposed to be so valuable?
Yes,
So
the
that-
valuable one. It's still just sitting there. I think that's where there's still some items in the science building and stuff like that, but.
A lot of those telescopes still
Yeah.
there.
So we'll work on that there. We may get down to where we have a handful of items that might have value and maybe we auction those off, but a lot of it is just bulk, like all the books that are left in the library. You could fill up a couple trucks and I don't know who wants old books like that. They don't have a lot of value. Plenty of people would like to come through with their scanners and cherry pick, but we're looking for somebody who would just take them all. the local library didn't have their chance to go through and took what they wanted for their collection. So they did take quite a few books, but there's still a ton of them out there. And we're, of course, we're getting towards winter time, so we're looking at, okay, what are our plans now? Anything we want to use, if we're going to shut down a building for the winter, we're going to get it out of there and get it someplace where it'll be heated and protected, so. Anything else? So that's where we stand. Anybody have questions?
I nominated this group, not completed, but Bob said he would help me. Randy and Brian have so much to try and get ready for winter to kind of go through what's left and decide if there's stuff that's valuable enough for auction. Figure out how we'll get it, but sometime once it's the next month.
So will there be a dumpster there yet, you think?
Well, maybe a metal dumpster, but
Yeah.
we'll see. When Bob and I, maybe Dave will come along or
A
what.
lot of what's left is, desks and things like that that have metal frames, so there might be some scrap value there.
Yeah.
Rather than us having to hire a dumpster, we might be able to get somebody to just come and pick it up. We'll see. Otherwise, we may haul it out to like L&M or someplace. See what they'll pay us for it. Be much, of course, but better than nothing.
It's gotta be getting down, but there's gotta be a pretty good sized pile, I would think, in the cafe of stuff that Randy and Brian have.
Yes.
They've taken the office furniture out of here and brought furniture from there. They took it out there to stockpile. So,
There's still a lot of shelves in the library, like metal shelves. There is a room that's packed full of desks and stuff in the classroom building. When they went to distance learning, they didn't need all those, so they just shoved them all in that one back corner room. So they're stacked up, this high. I don't know what all we do with them. Some of them are in okay shape, some of them are not. Good tables and stuff like that are pretty much gone between school districts and library and everybody else that came through. A number of them we took for the county. Those got snapped up pretty well, so. But there are a lot of old metal desk furnishings and stuff in Melville Hall that are, 50s, 60s vintage. Probably weren't in great shape when they were put in there.
we'll have to decide, what are we in almost October, what we're gonna do with copper top winter. Whether we're gonna try and keep it at a certain degree. We all know what the LP or natural gas bill was last winter.
Yeah, those are
I'll
all things.
agree with Mark on what we do with it, but I see us spending a bunch of money keeping it in good shape, just to be demoed anyway.
Yeah.
At some point, it's gotta be, our minds made up, or this is what we're gonna do.
It was a very nice venue.
It wasn't its day, yeah.
Please go.
I know. There are, theater lighting and equipment in there. The local community theater group has expressed some interest in that. And so I said, well, if you guys want it, you're gonna have to come in and take it down because we don't know how to deal with that stuff.
And I guess in reference to that, the city auditorium.
That's,
is
yeah,
also
it's between
501c3,
community players and our CPAC.
is interested in doing that to be able to enhance what that building has, so.
And they're, the lights are not top of the line, but they're not bottom of the line either. They're certainly
Right.
newer than what's in the hotel theater.
Right.
There is a light control board. There is a sound system that's not terribly old. So there is some value in that. I mentioned it to Andrew Sharp and he was gonna get back with our
He reached out
CPAC.
himself on.
So are we opening ourselves up for any liability on things like you're talking hard to get down and stuff?
I can talk with Mike when.
Yeah, I'd have to have them sign a waiver.
I think you definitely have to sign off.
So, any other questions on campus items? So, UW Platteville cleaned out all the computers that were left out there, so those are all gone, which is good.
That helped.
Yeah, that helped a lot because they left out a lot on it. All right, reports item B, UW redevelopment grant application update.
So I finally got from Ela the budget sheet because the grant, most of it's filled out. The budget sheet, I couldn't open it, so I finally today got a copy of one from her email to me that I should be able to upload, so we should be able to get that submitted by end of week is my goal. So we'll go through with the list that was provided last month. I do know that some of the tennis courts renovation, there was not the funding granted that they were hoping to have granted. We do have a little extra room in the budget, so not sure if we wanted to look to extend what they have on there. But we also, if we're gonna be demolishing more buildings, if we also want to make sure that we have plenty of funds for that.
Main thing we want to do is make sure we spend the whole 2 million.
Yes.
Sitting on the table. So,
And it is one that if we submit and there are things that we want to change, we can amend the request. Is how they have here with us, correct, Eric?
What's it say?
That we are able to amend the grant after it's submitted.
Yes, that's my understanding. Yep.
But it is important that we get it submitted soon because we want to start paying for these things and we don't want any challenges.
you did talk with Representative Kurtz about our bridge issues.
Yes, yes.
Right. Any questions on the grant application? The SEH update, item C.
So I did put that in front of you, so each month they will give us a written report. I do apologize that I didn't get it into the packet. We will upload it after the meeting. They did send me a video of a project that Hillsborough, the city of Hillsborough has completed, and just said that might be something we want this community to look into, so I will forward that to all of you tomorrow or tonight after the meeting so that you are able to see kind of what they're looking at for possible redevelopment in the future.
I think Supervisor Carroll might have actually seen it because he was up in Hillsborough for some
That's
meeting
right.
recently, so.
Yes.
Where is this at in Hillsborough?
Kind of up behind the high school or behind the industrial park. They have no, it'd be on the northern end of the town.
Okay.
Yeah. So you kind of go past the high school and off to the right and it's up in there. I could tell from the map where it was. But they have a newer subdivision. I mean, it's probably a subdivision that was built 20, 25 years ago that they started building homes. But then they've added a bunch more up there. I think they're doing 10 homes up there.
Up we listen to get a written monthly update. That is awesome. Talk to our video tower. All right, item 8. Discussion and possible action, campus property boundaries.
So I think this is one that the question that SEH has of us is what is the land or what is the boundaries that they want part of this project? And so that's what we were here to talk about a little bit, is just to get an idea of, do we want all of it? Do we want part of it? We do want to make sure we're leaving some land for Simons for if they want future expansion. I do know that in one of, I feel like at one point in time, we talked about, the line would be east of Melville straight up and that area potentially to be available for redevelopment.
Is this something we have to survey to get done, or are they just asking what our vision for the boundaries is and then we
No.
survey?
SEH wants to know our vision.
Yes.
For Simons, we'll need to do some survey and drawing lines
Right.
because we want to clearly section that piece off to belong to Simons and be separate from the rest of the campus property. So
Correct.
we had talked about, if you look at where Simons sits and then there's land over towards the library, making sure they had that land. Yeah, would be east of Simons
Right.
towards the library, where they could either put an addition onto the building, that side they'd have room, or they could relocate the solar panels from behind the building over to the side and then build back. And of course, we talked about making sure the recreational trails were part of Simons, and the tennis courts and soccer field, making sure those are separated off from the rest of the campus property. So corporate council is going to have to do some work with the surveyor, and that's what we wanted to get the ball rolling on.
Would there necessarily have to be a right of way at some point?
As we're looking at future considerations, there's talk of having an access road from the high school over towards Simons. And so that would be something we'd have to consider, maybe not right at this step, but looking at, okay, how does that get built? It is part of what we're putting in the grant. Our hope would be, and you're talking with the city about that, right? About, there's supposed to be like a meeting of.
Yep, so with the road, we already talked about it, the three of us met. I gotta follow back up with Josh to see what kind of road, if it is up to city standards or if it's more of like a driveway. But either way, we we shouldn't have any barriers to do one of the two.
If we build it up to city standards, the hope would be it could become just a city street and then it's the city's.
I think it has to be 66 feet wide.
Yep,
Be
and
a
we
city street.
curb and gutter in it,
And then a sidewalk, I'm assuming, you know.
sidewalk too.
Right now, it's just a walking trail that kind of goes through that area, so. There would be all kinds of advantages for like emergency vehicle access and all that stuff of having a road there, so.
Absolutely.
If we're spending grant money, we can afford it, okay, let's do the curb, let's do the sidewalk, let's do it right.
And when we had the meeting, you know, Ashley talked about, I guess, 5-6 years ago, there was talk of redeveloping the cropland. And so there was just discussion too on would it eventually connect with that, if that was something that was down the road. There would be some advantages to having that be a city street if it expanded.
For the SEH purposes, that cropland is something we'd want to talk about. How far back are we wanting to look at having them develop? Right now, we rent out the cropland in the back. How far back do we want them to go?
Well, the question I have, where your hiking trails begin and the cropland is back that way, would these two pieces connect? The smaller portion that's where the buildings are now, if we do decide to sell it all, how do I describe that? Is it gonna be a connecting piece altogether?
I think we'd have to do something to ensure we'd have that continued access.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Instead of two parcels?
Right.
Yeah.
If we just develop like immediately back of the campus property for right now, then it's not even an issue.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what our preference would be as a county. Do we want to look at pushing it all? Do we want to look at do this first and then maybe later, at a later date, then there's room to do more development?
Well, maybe that'd be a good question to ask these people.
I think they would, because I don't know, part of my thought was that we say we definitely want the campus property. And then if there is somebody interested in the expanded, then we could have discussions about it.
Either or type.
We can say this much for sure.
Yeah.
And then there is potential, if you have bigger ideas, then.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could find a way to connect up there like where Chad lives. Really beautiful scenery. There's already a good road to come, I can't remember the name of that road that comes off and,
Rainbow,
Rainbow, yeah, up above.
I've got the map.
I mean, there's just like 1 yard. That's not even built on, it connects the two there. We could get a right of way.
There will be more development happening up there. The city's got plans for.
Well, how many acres actually is that with just the campus material?
I was gonna figure that the whole, what we own right now is 130.9, 131 acres. I think at one of the other meetings, I kind of figured it out without the swamp. I'll figure it out here quickly. What the school, what they're proposing
Yeah,
was around 14 acres.
14.
But if the buildings right now are sitting on a 40 right there, which goes up to the start of the woods. Roughly. So, yeah, and I think they want an idea, SEH wants an idea sooner than later.
Yes, they do.
We have a bad habit of dragging our feet up. My speech when I ran is we are a year behind on the campus, and that was 2 years ago. We're still more than a year behind where we should be in this process, in my opinion.
So what are we trying to save the upper part for? I know it's trails, but if we're giving SEH the vision, let them build that vision in with trails. Let them take the whole.
Well, right now you've got the campus land and then there's ag use land behind it.
Right.
So do we want to extend it all out and take out that ag land? Do we want to leave that for later development? I guess that's what we're talking about. Not that we're saying it has to be one way or the other, but what do we want to look at?
And I'm looking at SEH, who is a consultant who we've hired to do a project on this property. And if this property touches the agricultural land, let's get a vision of the whole thing. Let's get them to tell, show what they've done, where they've done it, how they've done it. We can always say, we can always pull back and say, we want to keep this for this purpose. But if we don't have a vision, if we give them a little vision of a whole instead of a pie, I think we're missing that. I think we need to give them the agricultural, the whole 131 acres plus whatever.
Yeah, less, depending on what happens. with the
Right, with the Simon section, we have to deal with.
Yeah,
And you never know, there might be somebody come along and say, well, I would really like that small parcel, but not the big parcel.
Yeah, give them
But
the opportunity.
You opportunity.
Okay, well, we can take that back to SEH and look at the maps and draw some, what we're looking at for boundaries and figure out how much we're talking.
is that what, I mean, sorry to step on you, Dave, but is that what everybody else's consensus is start out with the whole pie and then we can pull pieces out if.
I would think that.
if
The whole buy less the chunk for Simons, yeah.
Yeah, take out Simons and depending on what happens with the school. And yeah, it's kind of hard to just envision.
I in our hands. Don't give them.
Okay, we'll move forward with that. Item 9, discussion and possible action, demolition of buildings and associated costs.
So I just wanted to get this on the agenda to start having this discussion about, is this the path that we want to take with starting the process to demo the building? So we have, for sure, the library and the classroom. SEH is also recommending the science building. I know there was discussion about possibly also adding the copper top. But if we're going to try to get some of these demoed, it'd be great if we could do it prior to winter, just to help with the billing piece of it.
Would we have to take that out for bids?
We would, yes.
Would it be as a per building?
I'm sorry, say that
The
again?
bid, would that be structured as a per building, or are you gonna go 2 buildings and then maybe one later?
We
I,
have a bid for 2.
Yeah.
It was a rough estimate.
Yeah. so we would need to get bids, and I guess it would probably be more cost efficient if we do all at once.
Yeah.
They're coming there to do 2, we probably want them to do all at the same time.
Right.
Do we need to cut utilities out before we do the demo? What's the process of that to get all that cut? I mean, I'd say at this point, let's find somebody to cut utilities, get those buildings.
We've been in
dead.
conversation with the city.
We've been in conversation with the city, and we received a quote from Miller Electric also about kind of disconnecting all of that, but I want to make sure, yes, I want to make sure that that's the path that we need to take, and then we will start to get all that squared away. I've already talked with Josh about kind of taking the lead on this and really working to get the RFPs out, working with all the different contractors to make sure we're doing everything that we need to do safely. But I need first permission from the board on what it is we're going to be doing.
I also want to throw into the fact, we don't have a locked in bid, but the company that was there, we told them, make sure your figures are high.
Yeah.
So that it will cover.
It was an estimate with plenty of room,
Well,
including like remediation costs for hazardous materials and things that he included within reason. So there's gonna be asbestos in there, there's gonna be stuff like that, so.
I guess my recommendation at that point then would be, let's get those utilities cut on the classroom and the library for absolutely sure, because I know those are on us. The science is on a separate service, I believe.
Correct.
Yes.
So my
Science building
focus,
And one student center are their own electric service.
right, that's right. Getting the classroom and the library completely stripped of utilities, I think would be a primary thing. Science.
Sure, we get everything out of there we wanted first.
Right.
So-
And then plan the demo for those two, again, not that the science isn't, but that the science, electric, and utilities are clearly separate, will be easier to manage later.
And the internet for East Hall, which the school is working on,
From the science building.
it comes from there. and
They're
so
working on
does-
getting their own fiber out there.
and Melville Hall comes.
Right, and as soon as that gets done, we can take that out.
We are planning to move extension staff out of Melville Hall by end of the year, so then that won't be a consideration for anything
Right.
anymore, so. I don't know if it's practical to think of demolition before winter, but
I don't know. Depends what the winter's like.
Right, yeah.
Ground cover, that's all slab.
yep.
Well, get the utilities cut, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, once we get those cut, then it's
Yeah.
time to tear it down, so. But what do we want to pursue bids on? Do we want to do the two buildings? Do we want to do the 2 plus science hall? How do we want to do this?
I don't see any way we can save the science hall for anything that's gonna be useful.
Unfortunately, no. And that was SEH's recommendation, that it's so incredibly specialized that
Yeah.
it's not convertible in any economically feasible way. You could do anything if you're spending enough money.
You can't get to it, you can't drive to it, you can't park near it, you can't.
Yep, that's another big factor.
I would, and Gary might go best, but I would get the bid on the two that we had a rough quote on with them being there, a third quote on the science. It'd be a separate quote that would be available. If we're here and you decide to go with it, this is what it would cost you to do the science building.
But we're
When they
gonna,
do them too, they're gonna have a lot better idea what they're facing. And I don't think we want to forget also these prices we have, that's demo only. So in the back of our mind, we gotta think about what are we gonna do with this? It said out there it's gonna be the size of breakers. I talked to him, I said, let's get it to a usable size, which is usually like this, about the size of a softball. You could use it for building roads or whatever, but we sure don't want to put it in dumpsters and all the other way.
And there are pieces from the buildings that we may be able to salvage for county purposes. I know our maintenance staff would like to go in and clean out a bunch of the ceiling tile out of the library because it's in a lot better shape than some in this building. So, but they'll need time to do that.
and we'll have to take it out to bids. I mean, we're
Yep.
talking probably 200,000 to 300,000. So it is gonna be a process to get the bids and go through this
But we
committee to get that
can
done.
structure the bid for the two buildings and then the third building as an extra
Exactly,
piece.
I think that's the way to do it.
Okay.
Then we got tunnels going from one building to others out there, we gotta find.
Well, we've got more information about that too. And the city utility has blueprints because their utilities run through. They're not really tunnels like you would think of a big tunnel. They're, a passageway to basically an oversized conduit.
From whatever it said is what they ran with steam pipes.
Right.
Yep.
So it's not the underground railroad.
No.
Not yet.
Now, for future development, anybody would need to know that they're there because you'd have to deal with them, but they're not like, they're 6 feet tall or anything like that.
That's what I was wondering, if anybody knew how big they were.
Yeah, they're not as big as we thought when they had the word tunnel.
Yeah, it's kind of a wrong wording, and Randy said yesterday, it's really not.
That's an introduction.
Yeah, I don't even know if you could crawl through them, to be honest, but.
But still, that's the part that's gotta be disconnected from those buildings and then disconnected at the main boiler system, so, yeah.
Yep.
Let's get those.
Well, and last winter, and that's, I asked Dave and I talked with Brian and Randy a little bit yesterday. And didn't he tell us that, well, we gotta leave the heat on in there because they can't get that water shut off all the way because their valve wasn't. That's what he told us. Then he told us yesterday they capped it. Well, if they capped it, then why do we keep the heater on all last winter?
Sounded funny last year why we had.
Yeah. And there were a lot more contents in them last year than there are this year.
So it was, but now, I mean, that Bob and I and whoever wants to help, if we get too many out there, then we gotta walk in for them, so. But we'll start on them two buildings and sooner than later to,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, we'll move it over to, Copper Dot if there's room.
Yeah.
We may have to.
If we're gonna cut them off, then anything that has value, we need to get out of there and move into like the student center or somewhere
Right.
that's gonna be reasonably protected, even if we just keep it at minimum temperature. But I know with, was it the science building, Randy had such problems trying to get the HVAC system to regulate the temperatures. And the heating controls weren't even supported anymore, so, yeah.
I don't know what we spent earlier this year at the student center, the leak in the roof.
Yeah,
I found it that day we were out there looking at instruments. Somebody put a bucket underneath where the water was coming through.
Didn't,
it was from the heating system. It wasn't coming in from outside. So they have capped that off. So the heating system in that area will not function properly now because it's capped off, but the building will still have heat. But the majority of the instruments are now gone. They cleaned those out pretty well. The school districts do. So that's good.
good use for them then.
Yes. Get them in the hands of kids that'll get good out of them.
So should we vote on this and take a resolution to full county board on 2, but how do we,
Yeah,
2 with the potential for the third?
2+1, something like that.
Do we
So
wanna
we
just-
want a motion then to go out for bids on demolition of the two buildings for sure, plus include in the bid the prospect of the third building being demolished based on our, recommendations from our consultant, based on what we've seen out there. And I guess at this point, we're just going to get the bids, aren't we?
Correct.
Do the bids need to include the utility cutoff? Is that a separate
That's-
piece of-
Assume that's a separate piece.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to get done separately before they start ripping stuff up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that that's
Too specialized.
And that piece may be small enough, we can just get it done without bids, so.
And there
No,
might,
it's that,
Yeah, that would be under 5.
does the city have a disconnect charge?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Most places do.
We did have for 40 years. I assume they kept that.
And there may be some digging they have to do to get down to where they can properly terminate the valves and everything, so.
And then we'll have to, if they, yeah.
The city has never charged me to disconnect power or water for a house. Now, something commercial could be different. You've got to have the permit to tear them down, and I don't know if that helps cover their cost or not, but they've never charged me for that.
We could talk to Scotty.
Yeah.
And they might just.
Well, I know Brian said him and Scott were out there, well, they were out there marking blue for water line. They've got a lot of water shut off smart. They just did that last week. Working at some of that stuff. But that, are we gonna send that to exec and then full county board? Probably.
The bids or?
The resolution.
Resolution.
We can-
Yep.
I just,
I make the motion.
All right, Gary makes the motion to go for the bids, second by Bob. Any further discussion? So again, our intent is to get a bid for sure on demolishing the two with also a provision of including the science building in the bid. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Send that recommendation to executive.
To go out to bids.
Go ahead.
Perfect.
Yeah, probably too soon to do it tomorrow night, but next time.
If we can, yep.
You
We'll have time before we'll come board.
there's another aspect to this demolition that we may not realize, and that is there's a lot of talk in the community about what are they gonna do with the campus. Maybe this will start the closure,
I hope so.
because we're gonna lose. People still think that it can be saved. It's just,
we had one the other night.
yeah, important.
Yep, and could it be saved? Technically, yeah, it could if you spend lots and lots of money, but,
You got a bottomless pocket.
right.
It's gotta be worth more than $1, damn it.
I think this is something though that we can talk about at the community forum next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Start
Yep.
sharing plans.
Okay.
All right, we'll move that recommendation on to executive finance. Item 10, discussion of campus infrastructure. I guess we've talked about that already too as part of the discussion. Like Steve said, they've been moving stuff out there. We did get a little feedback from the city that depending on what use that property is, the existing services out there for water, sewer may not be robust enough depending on what use. So yes, it's out there, but depending on what you redevelop it into, it may or may not be adequate in its current form. So there could still be significant utility costs and stuff like that for future development. But there's water and sewer and electric out there, so.
We do Kalahari, we do a lot of water.
One other.
Just reroute the Pine River through.
When we have this meeting, I was wondering also if it'd be, do you remember when Bendel had that big map up there? When we first started talking about the campus, and it showed exactly where the floodplain was,
Yeah,
like right up to the front door.
yep,
I think there's so many people don't understand that's unbuildable right to the front door of that first building.
yeah.
So,
Those parking lots can be parking lots and that's it.
And there's nothing like that visual. If we could show them, I mean, this is something we can't build, we can't use. And
Yes, yeah. Get a hold of the floodplain map and have that available. I think we'd have an opportunity to show a PowerPoint or something.
We do, yeah.
Work on that. Okay, good idea. Any other things on infrastructure, campus? All right, that brings us down to item 11, discussion and possible action setting future meeting dates. When do we want to meet again?
I would say definitely monthly, but
Well, after the county forum, I guess, after the meeting next Monday, I think there'll be a lot of discussion points that would come up that might be
Quite possibly.
good to review.
The discussion energy is focused on the meeting later tonight right now. But City Council has a special meeting at 6:30 tonight for the Storyfield project.
Oh, cool, that's good.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a long meeting, I'm sure.
Well, on Facebook, it was already stated that it's not open for public comment.
I think it probably is. 'Cause I talked to the mayor, I'm planning to be there.
We have the agenda here.
Yeah,
There is a public comment after they discuss it.
Okay.
and the concern from what I understand from the mayor is this is gonna be such a big thing, it would like totally torpedo the rest of their meeting that they have to have on their regular meeting date. So pull it to be its own topic, one topic meeting and get it dealt with. Give everybody their chance to say their piece, so.
Absolutely.
what's their October 21 here?
That's all works for me.
21.
21.
Yeah, Tuesday, the 21st.
No, we said Monday.
Monday?
Changed it to Monday.
Yeah.
The budget hearing's on Monday, the 20th.
Oh, okay.
So Monday is the county board meeting for October.
Correct.
Yep, I got it on my phone.
It's also school board.
And we'll have,
When's the next executive meeting?
well, they've got one tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but I mean,
that's not on the agenda, so.
The next one would be the second Tuesday, so the next one would be the 14th. Regularly scheduled executive.
So what about,
should we meet before the executive committee?
I don't know that we need to. But I think we should, because if the resolution we proposed tonight would go to executive.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to the full board on the 20th. So I don't know if we need to meet before the full board acts on that. Probably after the full board acts on it, we should meet, so maybe, what,
22?
Wednesday, the
I
22nd?
was thinking 22 myself, that'd be exactly a month from now.
22nd is the fair meeting.
Is what?
Well, this is a pretty fair meeting.
They
Time do they meet?
meet at 5,
Okay.
Maybe that by 5:30?
maybe 6.
Yeah.
Well, either that or we could go Thursday, the 23rd.
23rd, I have kind of more Southwest. Okay. Well, we're not doing anything till the 21st.
Well, the left,
Let's do the 21st.
if it's a
Since the
full
board meeting
ambulance is at 5.
Ambulance at 5, okay. You're gonna have a fun week, aren't you?
6 o'clock on the 22nd? Should be done with the fair by within an hour?
I think so.
Should we go 6:30?
These don't take very long, I go to 6 o'clock.
Or do we want to do 4?
Looks awesome.
Bob, does it work? Like 4 o'clock on the 22nd?
Should be fine.
Earlier the better.
Look at.
Got time at 9 a.m.
I'd say 6 a.m., but nobody wants to show up.
So we got campus at 4 o'clock then on the 22nd?
4 p.m. the 22nd, because we'll for sure be done by the time fair meets then.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like we're settling on 4 p.m., October 22nd for the next meeting of this committee. Do we have any correspondence? Future agenda items for that meeting on the 22nd. We'll have our typical updates. We'll have another progress update from SEH at that time.
Would you guys be, if Bob and I brought in a few pictures of what we think is to put out the auction, or would you rather we file them in an area and somebody takes a look at them? I don't.
I think you just do it, get it over with. So.
Big picture back.
Yeah. I don't know what they're in, I mean,
Well, haven't we been trying to get rid of stuff for free? So if we got all these things left out there we can't give.
well, not the microscope, we're not giving them. I mean, we gave some to schools,
Yeah.
but.
They have definite value. And there are a few things left, but not many that have real value. There are some refrigerators. we need to double check to make sure that whether they're usable for food or not, because they had scientific specimens in them, so. There were a couple that for sure aren't, but there's a couple we don't know about, so.
Because the auctioneer is gonna want something.
Right,
Yeah, no, this would be Wisconsin surplus.
something like, put it on an online auction somewhere, and just, post it and sell
If
it.
it don't sell, then it goes down again. If it's not somewhere.
Well, that was 150 a ton.
Going up.
All right, any other future agenda items? Item 14, entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Frank, second by Manning. Each of this time. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, thank you.
I am not sure, but
So that mark